All right, hey, what's going on to my Virgos out there? How y'all doing? So I also do private tarot readings as well as birth chart readings, right, privately. So if you'd like to contact me for that, as well as buy my books, right, the link to that is in the comment section below, called the Linktree link. Click on it; it will redirect you to a website, which has all the ways you can support me financially. So appreciate you, right? So for you Virgos, you have the Ten of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Three of Wands. These three cards starting right off the rip. So these three cards right here for you Virgos are very much so about the kind of relationships that you can build. But you want to make sure that you Virgos don't become delusional about how many people that you have. Some of these people are not really being true blue with you. It rhymes. Some of these people are not really being upfront and honest with you. Some people will lie. Just remember, we're at the top of the year. You know, we're not at the tippy top anymore as far as it being the second day of the year, but we're still high up there nonetheless. And the point that I'm trying to make here is not everybody that you will meet or you have met coming into the new year is going to be honest with you. So kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Don't get upset, okay? Don't get mad. Don't look for revenge. Not that, you Virgos would be the type to look for revenge anyway, but I'm just saying it as an extra precaution. Don't even do it. Don't even look for revenge. Just look at it for what it is. See how dysfunctional people are, and just look at it and just be like, oh, okay, it is what it is. So now, the Six of Wands and the Five of Pentacles is all about how, since that's the case, a lot of you also have to take into consideration that the Three of Wands, you have choices, okay? You Virgos are very much so versatile. If a person isn't necessarily working out well for you, then it just means that it's time for you to stop hanging out with them. Don't try to force situations, because us as Virgos, as much as I love being a Virgo and as much as I love, my Virgo audience, I know it's a pretty large collective of you. Shout outs to you Virgos, by the way. Happy New Year. We tend to force it. And when I say force it, I mean we tend to try to, sometimes when we like somebody, we try to make a relationship work that's not supposed to. And one of our things is that we got to get out of our bag about trying to make a relationship work that we know good and well it's not going to. And what I mean when I say our bag, I'm not being in your bag doesn't mean emotional. I mean, being in your bag means being focused on. So it's like this is the situation, right? And the thing is that the it's my dog right there. The five of Pentacles. I'm watching my dog dart across. Anyway, so the Five of Pentacles now, right, is all about how, since that's the case, right, a lot of you Virgos also have to understand that the people that are going to show themselves to be chameleons, dysfunctional, not being able to keep up with us, let them show their hands, and don't try to force it. Don't try to put them in a situation where, you give them a reason to stay. Let them go. As it is that I've said before, one of the most powerful things that anybody can learn to do is learn how to let somebody go. When a person isn't providing any kind of value and they're just being parasitic, especially that, let them go, because the more you try to force the situation to get them to stay, to convince them, is the more angry they're going to get, the more resentful they'll get. So now the Chariot represents, and there's also an emphasis that a lot of you Virgos are going to start questioning people, right? A lot of you don't care about being called like critical, because, like it is, I said before, a lot of people end up giving a terrible rep to Virgos. I really think, well, I know, right? Not think, I know. A lot of people don't really give an honest critical look at Virgos, right? They're very much so delusional in the sense that they want to make Virgos sound like the worst people in the world. And it's like, listen, we all need each and every single one of the zodiac signs. Okay? There is a necessity for all of them. Okay? And once again, in a lack of knowledge, real talk, in a lack of in a lack of knowledge, it really does go to show you just how much it is that people do not really understand about Virgos, because in their lack of knowledge, people will say very disrespectful things about Virgos in their lack of knowledge. People will try to make it people will try to give excuses as to why Virgo's sense of evolution is not necessarily needed. People will go ahead and be like, "Oh, well, you're striving for perfection." And it's like call it whatever it is that you want to call it at the end of the day. It's about getting better. Like, yes, I understand that we're never going to reach perfection. And I've said this before, and this is something that I've learned since I was 14, right? First getting into higher forms of sciences, and, the Sagittarius put me on. The Sagittarius told me, he said, we're not necessarily, you're never going to be perfect. He was like, but you're supposed to strive for excellence. You're never actually going to be perfect, but you should be striving for excellence as much as you possibly can, right? You should reach for the stars in that sense. And, me being a Virgo already have that built in me. It pretty much validated what it is that, us Virgos already knew. And a lot of people will try to criticize us, but a lot of you Virgos don't really care. You're going to ask questions, and if a person can't take it, if a person is going to get on their nerves, then they've just written themselves off, because you Virgos need to ask questions in order for you to know if the person is decent enough to actually build something with and just trust overall, And then the thing is that the Nine of Cups and the Death card represents, if you observe that they are not, then you Virgos will just leave. Because there's no point in sticking around them, being around them, wanting to be in anything with them, friendship, trusting them as family members, being in a romantic situation or relationship with them, none of that. Why should you trust them again? And the Knight of Pentacles represents a person has to listen to you to build trust, not listen to you to figure out how to be a chameleon, because that's what a chameleon will do on either side. A chameleon will listen to, this is why it is that I say that there's a need for listening and not necessarily telling all of your plans and exactly who you are so much, because you'll have chameleons, right? People who do this type of goofy stuff, where what it is that they'll do is what it is that they'll do is they'll ask you about particular things so that they can listen to it, just so that they don't give it to you. And I'm seeing this type of principles show up on other people's channels, and it, to all those people who may or may not be watching, who has YouTube channels, is very much so true. And to you Virgos, right, that I'm giving this message to in particular, this is very much so true. People will listen to you to specifically figure out what not to give you and how to play with you and how to waste your time. And, obviously it's a very dysfunctional and indecent and a lack of integral thing to do, but people still do it nonetheless, right? Just because there should not be dysfunction doesn't mean that there isn't. There is. And you have to watch out for that, right? There is the dysfunction of that, but the sun will prevail, in a sense that you Virgos will get over that just like you get over everything else. We've had to come back from dysfunctional individuals time and time again that wasted our time, played games with us, interested in just trying to get on our nerves. I don't know what, like, in the long run, the stuff that they did was stupid because, the confusion, acting like you Virgos were not worth their time, but then they're hanging around you. If you Virgos were so much of a scumbag, the way that some people act like you are, because it's not true, but the way that you Virgos were a scumbag, the way that some people act like you are, being by themselves should be being above hanging out with you, right? So once again, a lot of you Virgos are just taking on the thought process of the confusion of how stupid the dysfunctional thought process is, but also challenging it. And the thing is that, a lot of people are not going to like it because you're going to see very quickly who's for you and who is not. But let's clarify the Chariot. Let's clarify the Chariot. You have, oh snap, you have the Ace of Wands, you have the Six of Wands, Four of Pentacles, and then you have the Ace of Cups to clarify the Chariot. All right, so excuse me. So these cards right here are all about how you Virgos, when someone wants to act like they're better than you, they want to challenge you from the perspective of being combative, then you're going to leave. A lot of you Virgos are very much so above the bickering and the arguing just for bickering and arguing's sake. The only type of people who are going to be bickering and arguing just for bickering and arguing's sake are pretty much losers, factually, because there's no point to what it is that they're doing. They're so stupid and dysfunctional, they don't understand that you're supposed to bicker and argue to come to a point. There has to be an objective. There has to be a reason. There has to be a cause. There has to be some sort of resolution in that bickering and arguing, some sort of answer in that bickering and arguing for it to have value. If you're just trying to bicker and argue, it just goes to show that a person is low class, and not even about low class. It has nothing to do with classism. The person is trash. The person is garbage. Not based upon how much money they have, but based upon the fact that they're so stupid they don't even understand the point of conflict is to come to a resolute by definition. The whole point of verbal war is to come back to peace by definition. So the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups now is about how and a lot of you Virgos are going to be too good for a lot of people. I'm gonna just say what it is. You're going to be too good. You are already too good for a lot of others, in a sense that a lot of you Virgos understand your surroundings too much. Y'all have taken some time that you have invested, right, or you have available to you to invest in understanding your surroundings, and that puts you up on game far more than other people, i.e. other zodiac signs. Because Virgo is the zodiac signs who actually first start taking an interest in their surroundings, and then Virgos distribute that type of information of their surroundings to other zodiac signs. And that's how other zodiac signs get more aware of the surroundings that they're in, enough to pay attention to learn how to survive whatever surroundings they happen to be in. Yeah. So now let's clarify the Death card. So this transformation that has happened, which is the King of Wands, Six of Pentacles, the Lovers, and then you have the Knight of Pentacles. So these four cards right here, to clarify, are all about how you Virgos very much so, the person has to actually contribute, right? It can't just be them looking towards you to contribute everything while acting like, like on some Rick Ross stuff, they're a boss, and that they're talking about how it is that they don't need you and you garbage and you trash, or acting like it, or giving you a hard time. Because a lot of you Virgos, right, the lovers and the Knight of Pentacles, you will have them stand on business because you'll just go off and talk to somebody else. And then they're going to be up the creek without a paddle, right? But let's clarify the Sun card. Because I see that a lot of you Virgos are meeting brand new people. But you already know, and I say this all the time, just because you meet brand new people does not necessarily mean that those people are not going to try you. Some of them will still try you. You have the Four of Cups, Page of Wands, Four of Wands, the Strength card. So I had to take y'all through that journey of the Chariot, the Death card, and the Sun. The Transformation, which is the Death card, and then the Sun, which is how beautiful a lot and how handsome a lot of, or attractive, you Virgos will look after you go through that transformation. Because Virgos are usually changing and trying to change for the better. Sometimes they change for the worse, but Virgos are changing for the better. Try to change for the better. But the Four of Cups and the Page of Wands are all about you Virgos also. A lot of people will want to date you. I'm not even gonna lie. The Four of Cups, they will want to date you. But the Page of Wands represents, but you're reaching for the stars. You Virgos are trying to make sure that the quality of the people that you date are good enough. The Four of Wands and the Strength, excuse me, are all about how you also have to take into consideration that what you've got going on, you've got something special. You Virgos have something to offer, right? You have kindness, you have compassion. When your mind and your heart are in the correct place, kindness, compassion, loyalty, that's not something that most people should even get. You should be selective about that.